This is ABC7 News at 7, your Suncoast News. We're here for you.
I know that it's hot. We knew, we heard a bit about that before we came, that there were alligators here, which is different for us in New Zealand. And also the weather with the hurricanes and things like that, which is, something we definitely were aware of before we came over here.
The World Rowing Championships start this weekend at Nathan Benderson Park. The prestigious event has athletes from around 70 countries and is being held in the United States for the first time in over 20 years. Is everybody ready? Good evening, everyone. I'm Adam Cellini, and welcome to ABC7 at 7. Alan Cohn has the night off. We'll have more on the World Rowing Championships in just a moment, but first, our top 7 stories at 7. We begin with an Amber Alert here on the Suncoast. 4 Manatee County children are missing and, according to law enforcement, could be in danger. An Amber Alert was issued Wednesday night, asking all Floridians to keep an eye out for the kids between the ages of 6 and 12 years old. They are believed to be with their mother, 40-year-old Jema Gadon, who does not have custody after taking them from their grandmother's Bradenton home on Friday. 5 days later, an Amber Alert was issued throughout the state. The Manatee County Sheriff's Office says they've received multiple calls with possible sightings since that alert went out.
You just don't give out Amber Alerts for every case you have. You have to show that there is danger.
And while this mother and her 4 children weren't particularly well known among their neighbors, there is a collective concern for everyone's well-being. A few neighbors telling ABC7 that they just want to know that these kids are safe. A trial is underway for one of 3 men accused of killing a Bradenton couple inside of their home while their 5 children were inside. Trey Nonombre is charged with 2 counts of first-degree murder in the 2015 home invasion and fatal shooting of Esther Denuse and Contral Brooks. The couple's 5 children were in the home at the time of that shooting. The incident was caught on security video at the home located on Southern Parkway. Nonombre is one of 3 suspects charged. Jimmy McTeer's trial begins next month, while Therese Jones took a plea deal for 25 years in prison in exchange for testifying against the other 2 suspects. An update now on a 7-hour standoff at a home in Parrish. David Coverman was taken into custody late last night and is charged with aggravated assault with a firearm. Manatee County Sheriff's deputies say Coverman barricaded himself in his home at around 3 o'clock Wednesday afternoon. The incident reportedly started when Coverman pointed a gun at his wife and fired shots out of a window. Some neighbors were evacuated, but no one was hurt. The city of Venice voted on medical marijuana dispensaries, and it was unanimous. In a 6-0 vote Wednesday night, the city council took the final steps in denying those dispensaries. They say there was a lack of regulatory control. Florida statutes only allow for regulating dispensaries if the local governments already regulate pharmacies similar to if they regulate the pharmacies similar to CVS or Walgreens. Because Venice does not regulate pharmacies, the city would have no control over the future of dispensaries, so they voted to ban them. Florida voters approved the use of medical marijuana last year. A school in East Manatee County has been on lockdown for the past 2 days, and there is no telling how long that lockdown will stay in place. A spokesperson for the school district says Gene Witt Elementary School is on lockdown as a precaution. Someone associated with the school is related to a wanted fugitive. Manatee County Sheriff's deputies are now stationed at that school in case the man shows up on campus. The school district says there is no direct threat to the school, and it is unclear how long that lockdown will last. In the aftermath of Hurricane Irma, state financial regulators say Floridians should reach out to their leaders proactively if they feel they may not be able to make a home, car, or other loan payment in a timely fashion. The State Office of Financial Regulation says many banks are willing to work with borrowers following a disaster as long as there is transparency and an open line of communication. The OFR spokesperson says each person's financial situation is different, but it is in the best interest of both the lender and borrower to make sure that a debt does not become delinquent.
Financial services providers in Florida, are proactively reaching out to their customer bases, and, we have heard that they're doing what they can. It's a case-by-case basis.
While nothing is guaranteed, consumers with a solid payment history are more likely to be given the option for a smaller or deferred payment in the short term. With the rowing championship starting this weekend, law enforcement is already making sure the area is safe. The Sarasota County Sheriff's Office will be leading the charge, but they're not alone. Florida Highway Patrol, private security companies, even Homeland Security are all involved in that effort as thousands get set to descend on the Suncoast. Guests attending the event will be going through a metal detector and will have their bags searched. The Sarasota County Fire Department also on scene in case of a medical emergency. Law enforcement and the World Rowing Championship staff say they just want fans to have a safe and comfortable experience. And now we head over to Chief Meteorologist Bob Harrigan with our first alert weather forecast.
Well, thanks, Adam. We're looking at pretty decent weather, although we'll see showers and storms around on Friday and Saturday, tapering off a little bit on Sunday. We'll talk more about that later, but nothing going on right now. So all the practices that may be going on at Nathan Benderson look to be okay. A few showers well to the south and east of us. We're going to see an increase in moisture, as I said, beginning tomorrow with a better chance for showers and storms scattered about. Looks like we could see some problems with football Friday night. The rain chance elevated a little bit. And then as far as our current conditions go, we have clear skies, 90 degrees, dew point temperatures at 65, which is pretty low. This is the last full day of summer, and I'm looking forward to fall, although we're not going to see fall-like temperatures tomorrow. It'll still feel like summer, but at least we'll be heading in that direction, right? Satellite goes 16, showing looks like Maria getting a little bit better organized tonight. The eye starting to get a little tighter as far as that goes. And the hurricane force winds extend some 50 miles out on either side of the quadrants there. And it looks as though it may cause some problems to the Turks and Caicos as well as into the southeast Bahamas. But right now they're under a hurricane warning. The winds continue to be at 120. We're not expecting much increase in strength as this pushes off to the north and eventually to the northeast. There's a little bit of a hint back toward the west at the end there. There's a couple of models still take it close to the northeast, but most of the reliable models keep it well offshore of the Carolinas and take it off away into the open waters of the Atlantic. But it remains to be seen. It's a long way off. Again, the rains are starting to wind down, although they're still happening there in Puerto Rico, where flash flooding continues to be a problem. We'll have much more on the tropics and our weather coming up in just a few minutes. Adam.
All right, thank you very much, Bob. And still to come here on ABC7, the sporting event locals have been looking forward to since the Olympics is almost here. The World Rowing Championships, that's coming up after the break.
As Hurricane Irma tore through the Suncoast, ABC7 First Alert Weather was here for you, tracking Hurricane Irma on the all-new ABC7 First Alert Weather app and sending push alert updates on the storm, providing life-saving tips and non-stop coverage on air, online, and on all your digital devices. Plus, we answered thousands of your questions during our Hurricane Helpline. We kept you informed every step of the way. ABC7 First Alert Weather. We're here for you when you need us most.
40 million. That's the number of free phones still available and the number of how many Americans can still get prescriptions free.
Free could be wonderful.
That's why I'm still working at 77 years old to pay off my prescriptions.
I needed to have a prescription filled and I had to leave because I couldn't afford it.
Call now and see what's available for you. Free prescriptions. Over 10 million people get prescriptions free, and the program has expanded so another 40 million can. Free dental. Over 15,000 dentists have provided over $330 million in free dental work. Free cell phones. 40 million free cell phones are still available with free minutes and more.
Free cell phone would change my life right now because it is something I cannot afford to get.
Medical supplies like back braces, knee braces, and diabetic supplies may be covered too. The free RX Plus hotline has saved callers over $12 million on their prescription costs. These free programs are now available to 40 million more people. Call now.
This is an important medical announcement. Xarelto and Pradaxa have been linked to uncontrollable bleeding and even death. If you've been prescribed one of these drugs and have experienced these dangerous side effects, you may be entitled to substantial compensation. Studies show that Pradaxa can cause more heart attacks than warfarin, and other countries have already issued safety warnings against this drug. Call now for a free assessment of your case and potential money damages. The call is confidential, there's no cost, and you may be eligible. Juries have awarded millions of dollars to Pradaxa victims, and thousands of Xarelto victims are filing their legal cases. Call the Drug Watch hotline. If you or a loved one used Xarelto or Pradaxa and experienced uncontrollable bleeding, brain hemorrhage, or even death, you must call now.
Call 800-793-6055. 800-793-6055.
Download the all-new ABC7 First Alert Weather app now.
Welcome back. Is the Suncoast ready to support rowing's biggest annual event? A week from opening ceremonies for the World Rowing Championships, the tournament hit around 80% of its target ticket sales. That's a good sign for those who have dedicated years preparing our area for this global debut. David Wyant's love for rowing started 20 years ago as a sophomore in high school. Today, he does PA announcing for rowing events at Nathan Benderson Park, a hobby he'll soon take to the national stage.
I wasn't even involved in rowing the last time that we had the World Championships in this country. So I have never actually seen a regatta at this elite level, let alone announced it.
The last World Championship rowing event in the United States was the 1996 Summer Olympics in Atlanta. Wyant says it's not far from what we'll soon witness here.
I explain it to people, it's the Olympics in a non-Olympic year.
Like the view from the top of the brand new finished tower, this event has been part of a bigger picture, an event 4 years in the making, and organizers are nearly at the finish line. At Benderson Park, we're seeing the final stages of a build-out, the likes of which the facility has never seen. Boat racks for over 70 countries, 177 large white tents, and a 2,100-seat grandstand for an anticipated 40,000 spectators.
All the planning that we've been working on is really coming to fruition at this point, and we're seeing construction all around us, so it's a real exciting time out here.
Outside the park, about 1,800 local volunteers receive last-minute training. Many stopped working years ago, but signed on to help the Suncoast put its best foot forward.
Whatever they tell us we need to do, check bags, frisk people, whatever they think we need to do, we're going to do it.
There's a wonderful crew out here. Whether they're in the blue shirts or the orange shirts, it's always a good crew.
Executive Director Meredith Skirba hopes to bring $25 million to the area. Like the Youth Rowing Championships had a goal of over $6 million back in June. According to Sarasota County, those Youth Rowing Championships fell short by a little less than $2 million. But it was a valuable dress rehearsal, helping test water routes and the finish tower, starting system, Swiss timing, and ticket booth.
Those were our main focuses at Youth National, and we were able to take and experience and tweak things that we thought could be done better, and we're going to utilize that experience and knowledge that we gained through Youth Nationals at the 2017 World Championships.
But every journey has ripples, and one last-minute wave was the arrival of Hurricane Irma. The monster storm knocked over a few trees on the property, but worse, blew flight schedules off course for several teams. Some of the lighthearted countries just chalk it up to the Florida experience.
I know that it's hot. We knew, we heard a bit about that before we came, that there were alligators here, which is different for us in New Zealand. And also the weather with the hurricanes and things like that, which is, something we definitely were aware of before we came over here.
The storm also knocked out power for a short period of time at local hotels, which are now fully restored and ready for some spectacular guests.
They change clothes regularly, so it's having all-night laundry service together, and those especially outside the United States, or most of them are outside the United States, Skype and stream their TV shows from home, communications to their families, so a really wide, high-speed bandwidth is very important.
When boats finally hit the water, Wyant recommends taking a moment to appreciate the sight of the world's best lined up in our local waters.
They're going from a dead stop to full speed as fast as they can, and it's just kind of a sight that is not available usually down the race course or at the finish line.
And it may not be available for another 20 years in the U.S., especially here on the Suncoast. And when we come back, we'll talk with the CEO from the U.S. Rowing and the Executive Director for the 2017 World Rowing Championships. Stick around.
It's Lincoln's summer sales event here at Alex Karras Lincoln. Drive a brand new 2017 Lincoln MKX Sport Utility for $349 per month, or Lincoln's flagship, the 2017 Continental, for $449 per month. We have a great selection of certified pre-owned Lincolns. These vehicles have warranties up to 100,000 miles and come with complimentary roadside assistance. Alex Karras Lincoln, affordable luxury, winner of the prestigious 2015 President's Award, serving Florida's Suncoast since 1978. We're located 2 miles north of the Sarasota-Bradenton Airport on US 41.
Hi, I'm Joan London with A Place for Mom. Over the years, we've helped thousands of families find senior care, and today's senior living communities have never been better, with amazing amenities like movie theaters, exercise rooms and swimming pools, public cafes, bars and bistros, even pet care services. And nobody understands your options like the advisors at A Place for Mom. These are local expert advisors that will partner with you to find the perfect place and determine the right level of care, whether that's just a helping hand or full-time memory care. Best of all, it's a free service. Call today. A Place for Mom. You know your family, we know senior living. Together, we'll make the right choice.
Call A Place for Mom right now to get our free ebook on financing senior care, as well as a free referral for senior living communities in your area. Call 1-800-290-0352. That's 1-800-290-0352.
We were watching ABC7 News.
We kept getting the information we needed along the way, and it did help us prepare.
When they were showing the eye, I started to realize, okay, we better take some precautions.
We were able to look at the My Suncoast app and get the weather updates.
We stayed informed during the storm.
It makes a big difference having the information that you need in a time of stress.
Bob and John Scalzi, both of them. They're my favorites.
It helped a lot to have you guys reporting for us.
Tomorrow at 4 on Suncoast View.
There is no reason to sit and be bored on the Suncoast. I'm Stephanie Roberts. Coming up on Suncoast View, we will keep our hands and minds busy with new skills learned with adult continuing education classes. It's also a big beauty day. We'll learn the secret to fixes like fillers and dry shampoo. Plus, this weekend's McCurdy's Comedy headliner stops by, and Geyer's Sausage Kitchen will be in our kitchen.
Tomorrow at 4 on Suncoast View.
Welcome back. We are less than 48 hours away from opening ceremonies for the World Rowing Championships. Hundreds of athletes from around 70 countries will compete over the next week. The opening ceremony starts at 7 p.m. Saturday night. The event will take place at Nathan Benderson Park in Sarasota. As we just reported, the goal is to bring $25 million to the area. Hurricane Irma was a bump in the road while preparing, but it looks like everything is ready to go for the championships. And joining us tonight is Patrick McNerney, the CEO of U.S. Rowing, and Meredith Skirba, the Executive Director for the 2017 World Rowing Championships. Thank you very much for joining us. We know your schedules are probably pretty busy right now.
Happy to be here.
Absolutely.
Meredith, I want to start with you. You've worked on this project for some time now, and we talked at length, and you're probably frustrated watching the package that not all of it made it in, but I just want to start with your emotions, because this is a finish line, and you say this is the part where you get to enjoy it.
I do. I mean, this is crunch time. We're troubleshooting and putting out fires left and right, but this is the part we love. This is what event people get into the business for, watching your visions and your thoughts and dreams kind of come to fruition. So this is exciting.
Awesome. And Patrick, I think you said 20 days ago named CEO, right? Something like that?
20 days ago, that's correct.
Taking over, and what a time to take over. How are you feeling right now, and how are you feeling taking over this year? It's quite the initiation.
Well, with a partner like this, I'm not worried. But no, this is an incredible opportunity to bring rowing back to the U.S. It's been 23 years since we last hosted the World Championships. And I believe that with the team that we have here in Sarasota, we're off to a very, very good start.
Awesome. Meredith, the opening ceremony Saturday, that's a big moment because a goal of yours was to really involve the Suncoast, and that's kind of our chance to sort of teach these international athletes what we're all about, is it not?
Yeah, I think we're ready to showcase to the world who we are as a community, and it actually starts at 5 o'clock with a really fun festival where we have the Circus Conservatory and inflatables and all of our vendors. We have over 52 vendors there that people can come out and to enjoy and get into the spirit. And it's truly, we talked about this being the event in the world of rowing in the off years of the Olympics. So when you start thinking of that Olympic feeling and excitement, this is their time to do that. And then at 7 o'clock, as we watch the flags of all the countries come in, people are going to feel like they are at an Olympic event, and showcasing all of our entertainment groups and showing everyone who and what we're about here in the Sarasota, Manatee County.
Patrick, you talked about kind of showcasing U.S. rowing, and this is certainly an opportunity to do so. What are you looking forward to this week, and how are you hoping, I guess, this inspires more of a rowing fan base here in the United States?
Yeah, I mean, there's two parts to that question. First, this is the beginning of our quadrennium for the Road to Tokyo. And you want to see a new team on the water, We're very excited in terms of the team building that's taking place. And second, in terms of rowing itself, having an event in this country is magnificent. I started here in Florida 25, 30 years ago, and we have over 70 rowing clubs in the state of Florida. It's been amazing for me to come back into the sport and to see the development that's taking place.
And you started in the sport in high school in Orlando in the state of Florida. So, I mean, even
correction,
from
Winter Park High School.
Oh, excuse me, sorry, I had to get very specific.
We do.
So even from then to now, I mean, what's the change you've seen in just the state?
I mean, it's when I rowed, which was back in the late 70s, early 80s, maybe a dozen rowing organizations in the state of Florida, and now we have over 70. I mean, to me, that's magnificent.
Awesome. Meredith, I want to go back to you for a second. Infrastructure-wise, how are you feeling? We have the diverging diamond, that is complete, and you said that was a relief for you heading into this as well.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of things that the counties have done as a whole to make the experience for all of our spectators and fans and athletes more efficient and effective as they come into the region. As there's an influx of people will be coming in and out of Nathan Benderson Park for 8 days, so having the diverging diamond up and running makes everything a lot more smooth.
Excellent, excellent. Now we are just getting warmed up. We'll have much more on the World Rowing Championships coming up right after we check on our First Alert weather.
We asked you, Suncoast, why do you like ABC7?
I like ABC7 because it's local. It gives me all the local news. The local news, local weather. It's so local and so community-driven. Kelly Wilgus does a great job.
John Scalzi, that's my guy.
Bob Harrigan is wonderful.
Stephanie's my favorite. I like Scott Dennis. I like them all.
We're all very grateful that you cover what you do and you're here to participate with the community.
ABC7, your Suncoast News. We're here for you.
Outdoor living is one of the greatest perks about living in Florida. So whether this is your style, or this, or maybe this, contact Superior Pools. They've been building pools from Sarasota to Naples since 2001, and they would love to build yours.
Consumer Cellular makes it easy to stay in touch with family and stay within our budget.
Now our cell phone bill is only a fraction of what it used to be.
Our average customers get everything they need for about $25 a month, and plans start at only $10 a month with no contracts.
Consumer Cellular has a great choice of phones. Check out my new one. I picked this simple phone.
I use my son's old smartphone. Kept my number, too.
Consumer Cellular has been an approved AARP provider since 2008, and members get exclusive discounts.
It's a good thing Consumer Cellular is always there, because sometimes I need a little help.
Sometimes. We're proud to have received the J.D. Power Award for highest customer service among non-contract wireless providers.
Over the years, we've seen a lot of change.
We actually use change. Luckily, there are some things we can still afford.
Like Consumer Cellular.
Stop paying too much for wireless service. Switch to Consumer Cellular. And with our 30-day risk-free guarantee, it's easy. Call 1-800-920-3084. Go online or visit a Target store today.
When I was in foster care, I never knew when I would have to move, so I always had my suitcase ready to go. Then one day, I was adopted. My new parents opened their hearts and home to me. My parents cook my favorite breakfast for me every morning. My parents take me on trips I never thought I would go on. They gave me a home and an even better reason to use that suitcase. My parents aren't perfect, but they're perfect for me.
Now your ABC7 First Alert weather forecast with Chief Meteorologist Bob Harrigan.
Well, a nice day today. We had some sunshine around and not much rain. We saw some big storms yesterday, but we'll see those return tomorrow afternoon and evening. This is a review of the Van Wezel webcam looking out over Sarasota Bay. Calm conditions out there. We are expecting the winds to pick up, though, a little bit over the weekend because of the pressure gradient between Maria and a high pressure system to the northwest of us. Will kind of be stuck in between, so it will be a bit breezier over the weekend, especially on Sunday, as the system will be parallel with our coast, I believe, well offshore. Obviously, not a factor there. Some showers have been down to our south. That's where the moisture has been kind of bottled up, but with a return to east to southeasterly wind flow, we'll see this moisture availability return and a pretty good chance for showers and storms coming back into the weather picture in the morning and afternoon and along the east coast. Those will have a tendency to work off toward the west late in the day. And with a little sea breeze developing, the storms could be a little stronger. We're seeing that right now down to our south, so this may be a little sneak preview of what's to come for Friday and into Saturday. Well, the big story obviously is Maria. It's getting better organized once again. The eye is very much identifiable. On top of that, it's becoming more symmetrical, not as ragged on the water vapor imagery. You can see right there that dry air is slowly vanishing too, so things will start to moisten up a little bit, and that moisture will come back into play. Currently it's sunny, 90 degrees, dew point is at 65, and the relative humidity low, 43%. The high today was 1 degree or 3 degrees above average. 89 is the average, and 91 is the, again, 2 degrees above average, as I said. 96 degrees for the record, so we weren't close to that, but still a warm day to end this summer, and the summer has been a warm one at that. As far as the rainfall goes for the month, 8.79 inches, and that puts us 3 inches above average. Forecast for Friday looks for partly cloudy skies to start the day off, but showers and storms will come back into play late in the afternoon and evening. Some of those could bring some moderate to heavy rainfall at times, and the enhanced satellite imagery still shows lots of rain falling in parts of the western portion of Puerto Rico. The eastern portion is starting to lessen there somewhat, but still the runoff is causing all sorts of problems with flash flooding and mudslides throughout that region. And now the Dominican Republic is in the game here as far as heavy rainfall goes and flooding problems. More moisture continues to pile in there. As long as Maria was within 90 miles of the coast there, it's going to continue to wrap around moisture in that mountainous terrain and cause all sorts of problems with flooding. Now, as far as the forecast goes for Maria, it's going to head off to the northwest as a result of the weakness in the high pressure to the east of it, and then eventually bend off more toward the northeast as a result of a trough of low pressure. With Jose still in play, it may draw it back a little bit more toward the west-northwest later in the day. There are new warnings and watches out. This is a tropical storm watch in effect for the central Bahamas, hurricane warnings in effect for southeast Bahamas, and then again hurricane warning in effect for the Dominican Republic. Most of the models agree, though, it will move off to the north and then eventually to the northeast. There's a couple of models still suggesting more of a west-northwesterly course after day 5. We'll see how that plays out, but we're not going to see that storm. Northeast winds turn to the north at 5 to 10 knots. Seas will be 1 to 2 feet with a light chop. Water temperature now at 85 degrees, and beaches will see a high of 88. Tides upcoming. Low tide will be at 8:41. And the forecast tonight, partly cloudy, mild, 75. The storm comes back tomorrow afternoon, and showers and storms are in the forecast. Partly cloudy skies. Otherwise, the extended forecast calling for 60% chance on Saturday, tapering off to 40 on Sunday. We'll be right back after this.
Credit card debt can ruin your life. If you owe $10,000 and minimum payments are siphoning away your paycheck each month, you can get debt-free in less time than you think.
I've paid $800 a month for the past 3 years and haven't changed the balance on my credit card.
Get debt-free now has a program to reduce your debt, stop the harassing phone calls, avoid financial ruin, and settle for less than you owe.
I feel like a huge weight has been lifted off my shoulders.
You're pre-approved for our special hardship program if you owe $10,000 or more. Upon payment of your new lower balance, your debt will finally shrink until you are debt-free.
My family no longer has 30 years of payments ahead of us at 20% interest.
There's no fees until you see results. So call now, make one monthly program payment, and free up your cash. Resolve your debt.
Call 800-685-6422, 800-685-6422.
You love your couch and want to protect it from spills, food, and scratching, shedding pets. Introducing Couch Coat, the reversible, washable quilted cover that protects your couch. Shield against spills, wow, stop stains, and dirty pet paws and sharp claws. Plus, it's reversible with 2 stylish colors. Guaranteed to fit any couch up to 92 inches or your money back. It even has covers to protect armrests. Machine washable too.
My grandkids destroy everything, but with Couch Coat, my couch is always protected, looking as good as it did the day I bought it.
Get your Couch Coat for just $19.99, and it's reversible in brown and cream, like 2 couch coats for the price of 1. Order right now, and you can double your offer. Get a second Couch Coat. Just pay a separate fee. Order right now.
Call 1-800-943-0710 to get your couch coat. Call now or go to couchcoat.com. So call 1-800-943-0710. That's 1-800-943-0710. Call now.
Hamilton was adopted from a rescue in 2008. He really likes to be around people. And as soon as I start to make my breakfast, Hamilton is right there. I get out my mat and I'm doing a downward dog and he's underneath. He's quite the pug about town. He gets invited to a lot of parties. He knows he's a pretty big deal. I mean, look at this little face. How could you not love him?
Welcome back. We're talking about the 2017 World Rowing Championships that are taking place right here on the Suncoast. We're less than 2 days away from the start of that event, and joining us tonight is Patrick McNerney, the CEO of U.S. Rowing, and Meredith Skirba, the Executive Director for the 2017 World Rowing Championships. Meredith, I want to start with you real quick. A question on a lot of people's minds is the investment that the county has made in the park so far, just the area. I think close to $40 million of a public-private investment just in that park. $2.5 million from each county for this event specifically. You said you had a goal of $25 million. You wanted to have an economic impact here, and are you feeling any pressure, or what are you feeling right now with the magnifying glass?
2 years ago, I might have felt the pressure of knowing that was something we had to hit, but we have worked very hard in creating community programming, ancillary regattas such as our Youth Challenge, which is the youth U.S. youth teams that are coming in from all over the country. So above and beyond the existing championship, which is going to be significant in itself, especially hitting the 70 country mark, which is above our original goal of 60. We've created some elements that are going to ensure us hitting that $25 million mark, and we have no concerns. As we were even driving over here, we watched a huge team coming out of UTC Mall covered in bags. That gives me a lot of confidence, and as we continue to watch how things are progressing.
Excellent, excellent. Patrick, I want to turn to you real quick. We were talking before the show about maybe bringing the championships back to the States before that 23-year mark that we waited this last time. I know it's early in your time as CEO, but do you have any plans or ideas for how we can maybe do that?
Well, we know we have the Olympics in Los Angeles in 28, and I'd like to think that between now and then we'll achieve the milestone of bringing it back one more time. I mean, from our perspective, it's important to have these international events in the U.S. And from my standpoint, the fact that we've waited 23 years is too long.
All right, and not to make Meredith sweat since she's here, but how important is this event in your goal?
I mean, I've walked into a great scenario. 3 weeks into the job, we're hosting the World Championships. I have Meredith as a partner, so I couldn't ask for a better place to be.
But is this kind of a tryout almost for the U.S.?
It's a rebuilding year. It's the year after the Olympics. We have a lot of new athletes, and this is part of a program that will put the U.S. crews on the podium in Tokyo.
Excellent. Meredith, back to you here. The boathouse was talked a lot, probably more years back as we got closer. We moved on without the boathouse at Nathan Benderson Park, but we have some questions kind of from fans. Where does that leave the athletes? Where do they have facilities? Where do they spend their breaks? Will they kind of intermingle with the crowd? How's that going to work out there?
Sure. Take a drive by the park today and you'll see over 177 tents that have been built out that are not just your typical tents you see at an event, but they're hard-walled, air-conditioned floors, so they really serve a purpose above and beyond what a typical tent would do. So not having a boathouse is not an issue. We've brought in all the requirements that are needed to host an event of this nature, and for most people they wouldn't know any different, and this is what we're being able to showcase. And as we hear the athletes that are already out there practicing, they're amazed by the magnitude of the venue itself and how efficient and effective it is. So we're getting great reviews thus far.
Yep. Excellent. And how about the fans? What's out there for the fans right now? You know, bathrooms, parking. What are their options right now at the park?
There's a full efficiency of a fan fest with multiple places to go to the restroom, our grandstands, covered areas, because we know a lot of our fans are coming in and the heat will be a factor, but we have plenty of shade options. We have misting tents for those that want to go and get out of the sun and chill off a little bit, or a beer. You know, we've got a big beer garden that people can partake in as well.
All right, it's a good way to draw crowds to
Absolutely.
certain events, for sure. Let's talk about the international perspective of America, but also Florida. We heard, you know, a New Zealand rower talk about alligators, which I know has come up a few times. What is the perspective of the United States, but also, you know, Florida in the international rowing community?
I mean, it's a wonderful destination. I think what you'll see with the rowing, or with the athletes that are out there, we're a community at the end of the day, and the athletes that I've encountered today, just wandering the grounds, all very excited to be here. And I think this is definitely putting our best foot forward, as a community and as a country.
And size also has come up among the athletes. At least New Zealand was saying everything seems bigger in America. They've said that about the park. Meredith, maybe you could touch on that. What's been the perspective so far for maybe some of these international athletes?
Well, I think one of the things that you'll see, just like you go to a different golf course, you know, that everyone you might like, but they're different. Same thing with courses and rowing. And you can go to Aiguebelette, France, which was the last World Championships, and it's covered. You've got the beautiful background of the Alps, but you can only see the last, you know, half of the course. You can only see the finish line, where in our case you can see the whole from start to finish, and that's what's great for spectators, athletes, and fans. So we've got it all for everyone, and I think that's probably where they're looking at it in a very different view.
Awesome. And that leads to a nice question for you, Patrick, and that is, what is kind of U.S. Rowing's perspective of Nathan Benderson Park as a facility in the country?
We're coming back. We've already hosted a number of events here over the past few years. Next year, the NCAA Women's Championships are coming. Our coaches are already talking about bringing our teams down here for training camps during the winter. So this is a venue that is part of our rotation, and you'll see more national championships here in the coming years.
Excellent. Someone who doesn't follow rowing religiously but is in the area, why would they come out to this? You mentioned some of the beer garden and other things, but why would they want to watch U.S. rowing? I guess what would be your pitch to them?
I mean, for the event that's coming up next week, it's the quality of the international competition. We have over 70 countries participating. You're seeing athletes at the peak of their performance, and it's also the opportunity to see effectively an Olympic-style competition in the local community. As we look at U.S. rowing type events, the youth championships were here this past summer. You have thousands of athletes coming from around the country to participate. And while the competition on the water is aggressive, if you like, it's also, there's a lot of intermingling of the athletes and the spectators. And I think it's a great event for the fans to be part of.
All right. Let's talk about some of the challenges of setting up an event here in town. We got the weather forecast with the hurricanes and everything, and it was mentioned in the report, but maybe Meredith, you can talk more in detail about what challenges Hurricane Irma presented, and maybe just what other challenges exist with this area.
So I think there's, first things first, needless to say, Irma put us back on timing. We were very, very fortunate that the type of recovery wasn't as, we didn't get hit as hard as we expected. So you plan for the worst and you know, hope for the best, in which we were in this case lucky. But it's interesting that there's been a lot of effects by Harvey as well. So we kind of had that double whammy, because if people understand that a lot of the stuff that's brought in can't always be sourced locally, and there's things coming across country, coming across our containers for the boats, for the athletes. Some got diverted and had to go in different places, so it's delayed their timing, which are critical, obviously, to have the boats to be able to compete. So those things you overcome, and you find backup plans, and you plan, but you have to have B and C in place, so in case anything does happen, you're ready. As a community, we have been extremely, extremely lucky to have 2 counties that are supportive of us, from A to B to A to Z, excuse me, and they've come in, they've jumped in, brought us extra hands, any type of access we can get to make sure things are, even getting containers to the course. They've been running it up the ladder for us in DC so that we can get them through customs quicker to get them here in time for competition. So we've actually had challenges, but as a community, we've overcome them.
And you all have worked closely with Sarasota County Emergency Management, correct? Especially with these weather type things. And what's that relationship been like? How has that been an advantage?
Can't thank them enough, as not being from Florida, coming into this knowing that we were in hurricane season, that's where a lot of their attention was from day one. And so through that, over the last 2 years, our team has been through extensive training. We go into the EOC, we do tabletop exercises to help us prepare. So that was probably the one thing that kept me at ease at some level as I was watching the Weather Channel, because we did know what to do. There was nervousness, but we knew what we had to do to prepare prior to, and what we had to do to recover. And I owe that a lot to the Emergency Operations Center of Sarasota County.
Excellent. All right, well, we have to take another quick break. We'll have some final thoughts coming up when we return.
This is important news for women who were administered chemotherapy intravenously for breast cancer and then suffered permanent hair loss. Some women administered the breast cancer chemotherapy drug Taxotere have suffered from permanent hair loss on scalp, eyebrows, and eyelashes. If you suffered permanent hair loss after chemotherapy for breast cancer, call the law offices of Davis & Crump right now to find out if you are eligible for a cash award and medical expenses. Call now. Operators are standing by.
Are you getting the most out of your Medicare plan? Are you sure? Many people with Medicare are eligible for plans that include extra benefits in addition to those found in original Medicare. Benefits like dental, vision, and prescription drug coverage. Call now to see if you're eligible to enroll. The consultation is free with no obligation to enroll. In addition to hospital and medical coverage, at no extra cost, you could also get coverage for prescription drugs, dental, hearing, vision, and more. In many areas, plans with benefits are available with $0 copays for many services, $0 monthly premiums, or $0 deductibles. That's hospital, medical, prescription drug, dental coverage, and more included in one plan with premiums that may be as low as $0 a month. Call now to see if you're eligible to enroll. The consultation is free and there's no obligation to enroll.
Call 1-800-620-2254. That's 1-800-620-2254.
Growing up, my mom was afraid of the water, something she did not want me to feel.
So I enrolled Missy in swim lessons.
It changed my life.
Missy Franklin.
And now you can do the same for someone that you love.
There's nothing more precious than your child's well-being.
So act now, before it's too late.
Make us fly! I'm glad I did.
Thanks, Mom. Visit usaswimmingfoundation.org to find, get, or give a swim lesson.
Check out My Suncoast Dining on mysuncoast.com, your guide to the foodie lifestyle. ABC7's own Chef Judy serves up her favorite recipes, cooking tips and trends, dining blog, step-by-step videos, and Suncoast Restaurant Guide. You'll find it all at mysuncoast.com/dining.
Welcome back. We have our guests here, and they're joining us for some final thoughts on the 2017 World Rowing Championships. I want to start with Executive Director Meredith Skirba. Meredith, what's kind of your last-minute message to fans out there, locals, who maybe want to check this out?
Well, we hope they'll come out and join us as we welcome the world to Sarasota Bradenton. But tickets are starting to become scarce, and so we encourage people to come out. Championship weekend is sold out, except for general admission, which those are still available. And just so people understand, you know, a lot of questions around parking and transportation. All of our parking is in the north lot, right behind UTC Mall. $5 to park. We encourage people to come out and experience something that they've never experienced before here in our community.
And we looked at that map together. That is where Circus Sarasota generally sets up. So
Absolutely.
If you're local, where Circus Sarasota is usually set up, that will be kind of the parking tram area for you all.
Exactly. We'll have people with ability to walk over, or there's going to be trolleys, tram systems, and buses going around. So there's something for everyone.
Excellent. Patrick, let's turn to you for a moment. U.S. youth rowing, possibly on the rise here in the country. Is that right?
No, absolutely. And you just have to look at Sarasota. The gold medalist for the junior men's World Championships this past year came from Sarasota. And you just look at the programs, not just here, but throughout the country, they continue to grow. And what we're seeing at a high school level, at a club level, is a number of the junior athletes. And many of them then mature and go to college, and some of them make it to the national team.
All right, and hopefully back here in the U.S. for a World Championship one day.
That's the goal.
We'll see. Thank you very much for joining us today. Before we go, we do have some thoughts on last night's show. We discussed how the announcement of the CEO of the Central and Southwest Planned Parenthood, Barbara Dravecki, she will be retiring. Dravecki spent 24 years on the job and has big shoes to fill. Planned Parenthood provides many different services to people all across the nation. They provide knowledge to people on what can happen when you become sexually active, STDs, pregnancy. They also provide their customers with birth control, emergency contraception, which is known as the morning after pill, and abortions. It's a hot topic that everyone has an opinion about, so we asked you on Facebook what your opinion is, and here is what some of you had to say. Mallory starts off our comments saying, the more we fund Planned Parenthood, the more abortions we will prevent. Who seriously can't see the logic in funding an organization that's main function is family planning and pregnancy prevention services? Another comment, I am not about abortion. I wish they would stop providing them. However, I am 100% behind prevention, and Planned Parenthood is the way for a lot of young women to do this cheaply. Another comment: you scream women's health care and nobody pays attention. You scream abortion and suddenly everyone is up in arms. It's all a matter of labels. And if you'd like to join the conversation on tonight's topic, just visit our Facebook page, facebook.com/myssuncoast.com.abc7. And FYI, you can watch past discussions on demand. They're available on Apple TV, Amazon Fire, and Roku. So thank you to Patrick McNerney, the CEO for the U.S. Rowing, and Meredith Skirba, Executive Director for the 2017 World Rowing Championships, for joining us tonight. When we return, we'll have a final look at your first alert weather, plus President Trump sends a warning to countries involved with North Korea. Stick around.
If you're only hungry for a slice of apple pie, why buy the whole pie? And you certainly wouldn't want to pay for an all-you-can-eat buffet. So if you don't use your cell phone that much, why get charged for a plan that's too big, or even an unlimited plan? Luckily, there's still a wireless company that shares your values. Welcome to Consumer Cellular. Our average customer pays about $25 a month for everything they need. Many pay even less, as plans start at just $10 a month. You'll get a straightforward bill that's easy to understand, with no surprises, and all the attention you deserve from our friendly customer service team. No wonder Consumer Cellular has received J.D. Power Awards for highest customer service. Plus, if you're an AARP member, you'll receive special discounts. It's easy to switch. You can even keep your phone and your number. So stop paying for more than you need and start your 30-day risk-free trial today. Call 1-800-468-1930. Go online or visit a Target store today.
This is an important announcement. If you're between 50 and 85 and worried about your loved ones, you can still get affordable life insurance for peace of mind.
My life insurance coverage is guaranteed, and I was not required to get a medical exam.
I had high blood pressure and diabetes, and I got my coverage with one telephone call. No exam necessary.
I'm a smoker, and I wanted to take care of my family. I called to get my life insurance and my affairs in order. I wanted to do the right thing.
Call Final Expense No Exam Insurance. Your rates are guaranteed and will never increase.
I called and learned that this insurance cannot be canceled even if you get sick or gain weight.
And there are no restrictions on how my beneficiaries use the money when I'm gone.
Approval was easy and the price was right. I wanted to do this for my children.
Call 800-738-9812. 800-738-9812.
Now your ABC7 First Alert weather forecast with Chief Meteorologist Bob Harrigan.
Well, a nice day today. We had some sunshine around and not much rain. We saw some big storms yesterday, but we'll see those return tomorrow afternoon and evening. This is a review of the Van Wezel webcam looking out over Sarasota Bay. Calm conditions out there. We are expecting the winds to pick up, though, a little bit over the weekend because of the pressure gradient between Maria and a high pressure system to the northwest of us. Will kind of be stuck in between, so it will be a bit breezier over the weekend, especially on Sunday, as the system will be parallel with our coast, I believe, well offshore. Obviously, not a factor there. Some showers have been down to our south. That's where the moisture has been kind of bottled up, but with a return to east to southeasterly wind flow, we'll see this moisture availability return and a pretty good chance for showers and storms coming back to the weather picture in the morning and afternoon along the east coast. Those will have a tendency to work off toward the west late in the day. And with a little sea breeze developing, the storms could be a little stronger. We're seeing that right now down to our south, so this may be a little sneak preview of what's to come for Friday and into Saturday. Well, the big story obviously is Maria. It's getting better organized once again. The eye is very much identifiable. On top of that, it's becoming more symmetrical, not as ragged on the water vapor imagery. You can see right there that dry air is slowly vanishing too, so things will start to moisten up a little bit, and that moisture will come back into play. Currently it's sunny, 90 degrees, dew point is at 65, and the relative humidity low, 43%. The high today was 1 degree or 3 degrees above average. 89 is the average, and 91 is the, again, 2 degrees above average, as I said. 96 degrees for the record, so we weren't close to that, but still a warm day to end this summer, and the summer has been a warm one at that. As far as the rainfall goes for the month, 8.79 inches, and that puts us 3 inches above average. Forecast for Friday looks for partly cloudy skies to start the day off, but showers and storms will come back into play late in the afternoon and evening. Some of those could bring some moderate to heavy rainfall at times. and the enhanced satellite imagery still shows lots of rain falling in parts of the western portion of Puerto Rico. The eastern portion is starting to lessen there somewhat, but still the runoff is causing all sorts of problems with flash flooding and mudslides throughout that region. And now the Dominican Republic is in the game here as far as heavy rainfall goes and flooding problems. More moisture continues to pile in there. As long as Maria was within 90 miles of the coast there, it's going to continue to wrap around moisture in that mountainous terrain and cause all sorts of problems with flooding. Now, as far as the forecast goes for Maria, it's going to head off to the northwest as a result of the weakness in the high pressure to the east of it, and then eventually bend off more toward the northeast as a result of a trough of low pressure. With Jose still in play, it may draw it back a little bit more toward the west-northwest later in the day. There are new warnings and watches out. This is a tropical storm watch in effect for the central Bahamas, hurricane warnings in effect for southeast Bahamas, and then again hurricane warning in effect for the Dominican Republic. Most of the models agree, though, it will move off to the north and then eventually to the northeast. There's a couple of models still suggesting more of a west-northwesterly course after day 5. We'll see how that plays out, but we're not going to see that storm. Northeast winds turn to the north at 5 to 10 knots. Seas will be 1 to 2 feet with a light chop. Water temperature now at 85 degrees, and beaches will see a high of 88. Tides upcoming, low tide will be at 8:41. And the forecast tonight, partly cloudy, mild, 75. The storm comes back tomorrow afternoon, and showers and storms are in the forecast. Partly cloudy skies. Otherwise, the extended forecast calling for 60% chance on Saturday, tapering off to 40 on Sunday. We'll be right back after this.
Is your mop a dirty, disgusting mess? You need the Hurricane 360 Spin Mop System, the only mop and bucket that spins the dirt away. A system that cleans practically anything and everything with super absorbent microfiber. Dip it in the washer side and the mess releases into the bucket. Then place it in the dryer side and push on a pedal. You get a clean mop head that's practically dry and ready for more. And your hands will never again touch a dirty, disgusting mop. The heads are washable and reusable. Get the Hurricane 360 Spin Mop System for just 2 payments of $19.99. You'll also get a Sticky Buddy, the reusable sticky roller that picks up pet hair and lint and washes clean in seconds. You can take advantage of our 2-for-1 Pick It Up special and get a second spin mop set. Just pay additional shipping and fee. And we'll upgrade you to free priority handling. So don't wait. Order now.
Call 1-800-394-1524 to get your Hurricane Spin Mop double offer. So hurry and call 1-800-394-1524. Call now.
This is an important medical announcement. Bard IVC filters have been linked to punctured veins and problems with migration. Anyone who's received a Bard IVC filter must receive medical monitoring and may be entitled to substantial compensation. If you have the Bard Recovery G2 or G2 Express filter, you are in a class of patients who should be compensated for some expenses. Call now for a free assessment of your case and potential money damages. This call is confidential. There's no cost and you may be eligible. Juries have awarded millions of dollars to people who should have been warned about the risks of the Bard IVC filters. Call the IVC Filter Hotline if you or a loved one has received an IVC filter and experienced a vein puncture or required medical monitoring. You must call now.
Call 800-329-3089. 800-329-3089.
It's Willamania at the Players Center as the Will Rogers Follies takes the stage September 27th. Part homespun humor and part Ziegfeld Follies, this toe-tapping Tony Award musical is the start of our wild Broadway series. So call the Players at 365-2494 or visit us at theplayers.org. You need to catch Willamania.
Now checking in on our primetime headlines, President Trump has spent the week in New York City with leaders from across the globe at the United Nations meeting. Today he spoke to leaders about any involvement other countries may have with North Korea. ABC News' Karen Travers has more.
President Trump has brushed off calls for diplomacy with North Korea. Instead, he prefers tough talk and direct threats. But now he's backing sanctions to choke off support for what he calls a criminal rogue regime.
From a promise of fire and fury to a threat of financial squeeze,
President Trump signing an executive order giving the Treasury Department more authority to target individuals, companies, or banks that finance and facilitate trade with North Korea.
Foreign banks will face a clear choice: do business with the United States or facilitate trade with the lawless regime in North Korea, and they won't have so much trade.
The president says this will cut off sources of revenue that fund North Korea's drive for nuclear weapons, which he called a grave threat to global peace and security. But he's been skeptical about whether sanctions are enough to force Kim Jong-un to change his behavior. Today, he welcomed the news that China's central bank ordered its banking network to begin to cut financial ties with North Korea.
I want to just say and thank President Xi of China for the very bold move he made today. That was a somewhat unexpected move, and we appreciate it.
President Trump says the U.S. wants to see a complete denuclearization of North Korea. Just 2 weeks ago, he wouldn't say whether he could accept a North Korea that had nuclear weapons but was contained. Karen Travers, ABC News, traveling with the president in New York.
Hurricane Maria is devastating the Caribbean, but hit Puerto Rico directly on Wednesday. The widespread destruction across the country includes downed trees, widespread flooding, and twisted power lines. The force of the storm knocking out the island's entire energy grid. The governor is imposing a nightly curfew every night for Puerto Rico's nearly 3.5 million residents. More than 12,000 people are in shelters across the island. The Puerto Rican National Guard has already rescued dozens of families from the floods near the capital of San Juan. And it's a race against time in Mexico City as rescuers work to save everyone they can. The death toll is now at least 250 after a massive earthquake rocked the city on Tuesday. Nearly 2,000 were injured and many more have been forced from their homes. The 7.1 magnitude earthquake forced dozens of buildings to collapse. Rescuers from all walks of life have banded together to scour that debris, saving dozens of survivors after they were pulled from the rubble alive. An unaccounted number of people are staying at shelters around the city, and schools have closed indefinitely. Former NFL player Aaron Hernandez suffered from a severe case of chronic traumatic encephalopathy, according to his attorney. That's CTE for those who follow football. Jose Baez says Boston University's CTE Center tested Hernandez's brain for the degenerative brain disease. The condition is generally found in people after repeated head trauma. Researchers who examined the brain determined it was the most severe case they had ever seen in someone of Aaron's age. It is known to cause anxiety and depression, which could have contributed to Hernandez's suicide in prison. Baez also announced a federal lawsuit filed on behalf of Hernandez's daughter against both the NFL and the New England Patriots. Well, that's all the time we have this evening. I'm Adam Cellini. Thank you for joining us and have a great night.